Even in that video, I said that Sportage certainly is still putting up a great fight, despite the fact that Hyundai Tucson being the latest facelift model. Please, please, please try that baby mode. You will love it. What have you done with the gasoline model? If it wasn't for that crazy 15 kilometer I have seen, I would not have such doubts about this. Welcome to CarSceneKorea. I introduce newly released Genesis Hyundai and Kia cars. And as you saw from the thumbnail, the car I am test driving today is 2025 Kia Sportage Facelift Hybrid and 2025 Kia Sportage Facelift. Well, it is a PE, product enhancement model to be precise. I went over all about this in my first review, exterior, interior, walk around, side-by-side comparison to that of the hybrid to gasoline model in my first video, so be sure to check that video out. And as the title suggested, I am test driving this Kia Sportage Facelift Hybrid to gasoline model back to back. Well, of course, this car being a hybrid, there is the motor and it's idling, nothing is running, no engine. Essentially, this car right now is an EV. The advantage that you get of an EV car is just being shown right now as I speak. No motor running, no noise whatsoever. That yields this serene, cozy environment inside. Roll down the window, that's when you know how loud the outside is. I mean, it is super quiet right now, no cars on the streets. Thanks to the dual laminated acoustic glasses on the first row, there is not a double pane window on the second row seat, unfortunately. But see, only when the engine is fired up, you feel As I have said, I drove a facelift Sportage on my way here for about 50 kilometers, putting together a good freeway and city drive. I can tell you the hybrid is the winner when it comes to the overall serene quietness, the feeling that you get inside. So of course, due to the nature being, due to the powertrain, the car is going to behave very differently. The car utilizes the motor to its maximum to yield the best MPG possible, but not only that, it is to provide the better driving pleasure overall. Because no internal combustion engine, no engine running, i.e. running on the motors only, that's when you get the most out of this hybrid, I would say. There is a monitor showing you the system consistently, and you can change that right here. Thanks to CCNC, Connected Car Navigation Cockpit, you can have this gigantic 12.3-inch monitors on the right and the left. I want to save that fuel efficiency until the end. I'll just give it to you right now because you would probably already know if you have watched my previous video on the gasoline model. On that car, I clocked 15 kilometers per liter. Well, it's not exactly the same road and condition we are on. It is going to be very different, of course, but the reading I am seeing on this car, the hybrid, is 11.7 for the past 236 kilometers of the car being driven. Do keep in mind that this is a test drive car, so a lot of people, random people would have been driving the car, so not the best fuel efficiency the car is pumping out. I can tell you that for sure, and I just started, so it's only going to go up. I promise you that. That's going to go up. So that is the route I have for today. It is actually accumulated fuel economy I've got, and it's not that instant fuel economy I'm talking about. It's not to cheat and give you that crazy efficiency. No, the gasoline model is going to put up a great fight, already seeing that 15, and I even saw 15.9 at one point before I floored the car to test out the performance. Enough of that, but it is the gasoline versus hybrid this video is, right? So that is actually the big point, the key point I would like to focus on this video. That is, it's no more fuel efficiency when it comes to the hybrid. It seems like the technology is catching up real fast. It certainly is the motor, the engine, but there is a huge upgrade with the transmission when it comes to the ICE model. For the first time ever with Sportage, the facelift Sportage actually got the 8-speed automatic transmission, whereas it was DCTs for previous models. I did not think that would be a huge difference. I mean, we are seeing the result ourselves. It is both the fuel economy and also this pleasant driving the car provides. But watch this. Hey, the fuel economy and also this pleasant driving the car provides. But watch this. Hey, it's like hybrid wants to tell us something right now. That is, you just saw that harsh road and bumpy road that we just went over, right? That's when this hybrid shines the most, because the hybrid also utilizes the motor to control the pitching, which is the vertical up and down movement of a vehicle, in order to provide the best ride inside the cabin to its maximum. I felt that right now on that bump. And I'm not exaggerating, there is a difference between a gasoline model versus hybrid. The suspension, of course, are tuned differently because the car has different weight ratio. Of course, manufacturers tunes differently, although they might be using the same hardware. However, this is where the hybrid shines the most. Speaking of which, I want to go into different drive modes. There is Eco, Sport, and My Drive with hybrid. But in My Drive, and you can see the BVM, blind spot view monitor, working beautifully. And in My Drive, there is the baby mode. And I told you all about this on my first impression video with the hybrid, so double check on that. Enable the baby mode. This is the mode you will get the most out of this hybrid, because it is, well, like the name suggests, it is set for that baby to provide the ultimate ride possible, mostly on the second row seat as the name suggests, but you can distinctively feel all of that on the first row seats. Enable that baby mode and go over the bumps on uneven paved roads, you will feel the differences right away. But watch this. Hey, going back to what I was saying, I thought it would be the fuel economy that I will certainly be focusing on. However, the fight is going to be fierce between the hybrid and gasoline, as we have been seeing. I think I would have to save my answers until I finish long-term test driving both ICE and also hybrid. So meet me over there, but like I said, I think it's gonna be neck and neck between the ICE and hybrid. Moving on to the second point, which I believe is going to be the penetrating differences and focus of this video, is the ride. I already have briefly mentioned about the baby mode and the ride, the pitching movement, the up and down movement from the hybrid versus the gasoline ICE model. But last but not least, there's also this. When you first engage the car, there is the gentle push thanks to the motor and the instant torque you get from the motors. Rolling this vehicle from a complete stop feels very different compared to a gasoline. It is also the same case with HDA 2, Highway Driving Assist 2, which is the latest ADAS that Hyundai Motor Group has got to offer. There is that moment where the gasoline model would struggle between which transmission, which gear ratio that it should be in. Well, because there is consistent stops and goes in congested city roads, right? Sometimes it would downshift and then upshift, so it is struggling. Although this doesn't really happen all that much, to be honest, but it does happen from time to time, which is not necessarily the best driving experience out of a vehicle, right? However, there is none of that with hybrid, because hybrid is only using the motor at low speed, hence providing that pleasant, undisturbed movement of a vehicle, both rolling and slowing down, thanks to the motor using the regen brakes. And speaking of which, on to the next point, that is the regen brakes, i.e. paddle shifters on these two cars. So the paddle shifters on hybrid works like this. There we go. You can see on the far right down. So watch over there. You can control the level of the regen brake using the paddle shifters here. However, when you put the car into sport mode and start driving, the paddle shifter now actually works as a shifters that we know of. So you can shift and control your transmission using the paddle shifter in sport mode. Just like that. So this versus that. And pull it all the way the right in order to go into that auto mode, as you saw. And you can also control the regen brakes of the auto using the paddle shifter after the auto has been engaged. And one more thing I am noticing right now, probably regen brake was set at mild condition when I first hopped in this HEV, because there wasn't much of a difference between this HEV to that of the ICE when I lifted my foot off the accelerator. However, after I changed to the auto and set at the maximum strength regen brake, I do feel the regen brake kicking in, engaging, actively using that regen force to charge the batteries. And comparing this to the level of real, I'm not sure what name I should come up with, comparing this to the full EV electric vehicle from Hyundai Motor Group cars, i.e. Ioniq 5, EV6, EV3, you name it. I want to say that's on the verge of the level 2.5 at most. So it's not the strongest regen brake like I have felt from other 100% EV cars, no, but it is there with 2 or 2.5 point-ish, I would say. 30 minutes driving, 10.2, and accumulated 240 kilometers, 11.8. Once again, come back to my channel for that ultimate driving range and real-world efficiency of that. But I know the car is going to do so much better than that. I mean, what have you done with the gasoline model? If it wasn't for that crazy 15 kilometer I have seen, I would not have such doubts about this. The gasoline model really truly outperformed when it comes to the fuel efficiency. I genuinely am blown away, surprised by that number. But the ride itself, hands down, hybrid is the winner. It almost just feels like I have ECS, electronically controlled suspension, on this car, utilizing that baby mode. So baby mode versus a regular. So put the car into sport mode. Oh yeah, the car just wants to go. Look at this. So put the car into sport mode. Oh yeah, the car just wants to go. Look at this. You can have fun in the sport mode with the Sportage, regardless of the car being hybrid or ICE. Yeah, there is very distinctively different behavior when it comes to these two cars, putting the car into sport mode, because with ICE models, when you floor the car, it is all about finding that perfect transmission gear and then start pushing the car forward. However, when it comes to the hybrid, there is always that motor that will respond first. So when I hit it, watch the graphics here. There we go. So when I hit it, watch the graphics. It will use the motor right away. Look at that, hybrid mode, right? Engine and the motor working together, utilizing that maximum performance. So it's not just the engine that's left to do all the work. It is motor and the engine working together. It's so pleasant. Now we are on the freeway. Both of the cars do get the lane change assist, which will be activated on freeways, meaning you only have to use your turn signal in order to let the car to change the lanes. Watch this. So yep, as soon as it starts moving, you can let go of your hand off the steering wheels and the car will make the lane change just like that. And let's go back to Eco, which this car is all about. And I gotta get up there with that 15 kilometer per liter mark. I mean, hybrid, come on, we cannot lose against the gasoline model. 9.3, we'll see. I know you can do it, let's do it. Those of you guys who are curious about the interiors and everything, it doesn't look all that much different, I should say. It is exactly the same. The HUD, vivid, crisp and clear. Yes, wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay supported thanks to the CCNC. And the graphics here though looks a bit different because the car being hybrid versus another gasoline. Of course, other than the hybrid specific graphics, all the other things are same. Well, maybe except for this dummy button here, which is only found on gasoline model because that is engine auto stop and go button for that. Wireless charging pad right there, and the slide cover just beautifully done, and Krell premium sound system all around, and dual laminated acoustic glasses on the first row, like I have said. So right there, it's only applied on the first row and the windshield. However, the second row seats do not get dual laminated glasses. So the interior look of the hybrid model. By the way, that seat reclines like crazy. This is one of the advantage because not all SUVs have crazy inclination and declination on the second row seats like the Sportage or other Hyundai Motor Group cars do. You are seeing it for yourself. There is a huge difference of having the seat leaned back all the way and tilted forward all the way to the front. And the rear trunk, of course, fully automated. You can control it from the outside using the key fob, inside as well. VDC and battery reset button because it's hybrid. Enough of eco. The number is going up 10.3, but I gotta get into my drive. This is my favorite drive mode, hands down. If you are driving either Hyundai Tucson facelift hybrid or Sportage hybrid facelift, please try that baby mode. You will love it. This beautiful rotary type, I mean, would have been better if it was column shifter type as it is with other latest Kia cars, i.e. Kia EV3, but the car being a facelift, there's going to be a hardship of relocating this to this. Most likely we'll see that on the next all-new model, but the biggest takeaway here, the upgrade is the piano black is gone. No more piano black interior. There is the wood pattern vibe to it, but you do not feel the texture. It is coated, and I wouldn't say fingerprint resistant, but it's not going to leave all that fingerprint smudge unlike the predecessors. And the sliding door here, just push it, it just shuts down gently like that. Very luxurious. I like that touch. You can open it, it will lock and close like so. The brilliant job with that cup holder. You can close it, use it as extra storage when you don't use it, and you can open it, you can pop it open when you have the cups, just like this. I love this. And this is what the key fob looks like, same as all of the latest Kia cars. I actually do like this key design a lot. A lot of people favor this over the latest Hyundais. And also that Kia emblem lights up, illuminates like so when you operate it. And the car has RSPA, Remote Smart Parking Assist. And you can also pull the car in and out using this key fob. And that comes in real handy when you have parked really tight to the pillars and so forth. You can just simply get out, control your vehicle remotely, pull the car in and out. And if you have used that feature before, I know you love it already, because I do. I love that a lot. The MPG is actually going up and up. It's 11.4 now. So this is where the beauty of hybrid tech comes in. There is a Sportage pre-facelift model. There's a lot of Sportage here in Korea, and well, pretty much same around the globe as well, right? Here in Korea, Sportage actually sells more than Hyundai Tucson, which is the other way around for United States and a few markets overseas. I also got a lot of views and questions, feedbacks from my viewers when I last came up with comparison video of latest Hyundai Tucson facelift model versus the latest Kia Sportage pre-facelift 30th anniversary model to be precise. Even in that video, I said that Sportage certainly is still putting up a great fight, despite the fact that Hyundai Tucson being the latest facelift model. And here we are, we have this latest facelift Sportage now. That being said, I am certainly coming up with comparison video of Hyundai Tucson facelift versus this Kia Sportage facelift, so stay tuned for that. I will tell you all about two cars in that video. It's going to be a very tough fight between the two. I think it would come down to personal preference, but you know, I will save my answer until the test drive is complete. So meet me over there for that video. I sure am coming out with that video. 13.3 as we speak. So that number is not that far away now. Behold, gasoline model, we are getting there, 13.4. So I am back in gasoline model. And the conclusion I want to give you before I wrap up is that what I have said and felt is 100% valid. It almost feels like I have different suspension on this car than the baby mode I had on HEV. I mean, there will always be promising and very satisfactory fuel efficiency with hybrid, but the readings and numbers I see from this 8-speed automatic is just beyond this world. It's saying 12.7, 12.8. it only is going to go up. However, the next is the ride, the suspension, the drive itself, I would like to say. And also this, when you are making lane change and also need some sudden power, the car will always downshift, kick down, and find the ultimate sweet spot for the transmission and push the car forward, whereas it's not so much with the hybrid as we have seen. And this is precisely the moment that I pointed out minutes ago. That is this consistent stop and go. The HDA is a little puzzled as to which gear it should use, and I do have a lot of engine brake engaging and the jerking motion just a little bit. It's not too bothering. However, the hybrids is so much better, fine-tuned, I would say. I had no such issue with the hybrid whatsoever. It was smooth all around, and there we go. This is the living proof how popular Sportage is here in Korea. There is generations of Sportage in front of me as we speak. And you know what? That car there was Sportage too. So 3 different Sportage in front of me. I see a lot of Sportage here in Korea. Alright, so that is it for today's video, going over 2025 Kia Sportage Facelift petrol gasoline model versus hybrid HEV. Once again, not necessarily to distinguish which is better, but how different they are despite how similar they look inside out. So hopefully today's video was your answer to that. So reporting in live from Korea, your #1 source of anything, everything KDM, Genesis, Hyundai, and Kia cars. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching and goodbye. And look at that, 14.0. And just so you know, that infrared is not visible to human eyes, so I don't see any of that when I am actually test driving the vehicle. Just so you know.